What's up, everyone? Welcome to another podcast day. Uh, we have a lot of things to talk about. So, how are you doing, guys? How do you enjoy the beta? Is it fun? Are you having fun?
Uh, I definitely had more fun today than I previously had been. I was not super high on the meta, but then I saw an Aikado tweet. So follow him on Twitter. And there's like this
Have you been
Seraphine Ionia deck. Very
have you
fun.
been trying it out? Have been having success with it? How do you feel about it?
So I've played, I think, 7 total games. I have not played very many games, but it did feel good. It's definitely, when I saw the Karma set nerfs where we're nerfing coin, I had this opinion where I thought Karma might die, but I did not believe that the set formula deck would die. And I really like this Seraphine deck and its ability to play some of these like flow cards that we haven't seen in a while. Because like Jinx Kennen has like outrageous problems with Caustic Rift. I don't know if your list that you've been playing recently has
Yeah.
any Caustic Rifts, but like they very nearly fold on the spot to the card. Like, they've got like so many X1s, they can't really do anything about it. They just lose their entire board to Caustic Rift and die. And these people playing Aatrox, like, you get to reintroduce Aatrox to Unworthy Soul, and that card fucking owns Aatrox.
It is funny with how long, everybody's like, oh my god, Ionia is so weak, Ionia is so weak, Ionia can't deal with these. And it's like Karma's like the first Ionia deck that can't beat like a Go Tall deck ever.
Yeah.
Like we could just play like Unworthy Soul and like Aatrox Krez.
That card is unreasonable. I had been looking for a while, and the solution that I'd come up with previously was just playing some Caustic Rifts and some Unworthy Souls in Karma and being unhappy about it. But this Seraphine deck like happily activates flow. It's not really a problem for the deck, and the flow cards are really good, really good. So
Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
played it. I saw it. Like I saw both Majin and like Aikado playing it. It feels like it feels something. It's the best Seraphine deck out there though. Like I see the Seraphine Targon. That was like the worst deck I think ever seen. Like, have you played the Seraphine Targon? That was so bad. But it still was beating the Jinx because the Caustic Rift. Yeah, I do different agree. Like the Caustic Rift is so good, especially into the Jinx, and yeah, it
yeah,
makes sense, I guess.
I definitely had this opinion where it was like, I don't think this deck is better than the Karma deck we had last patch. But in light of these coin nerfs and these nerfs to like kind of specific to Karma stuff, I'm interested in this deck where it's just like, okay, we're playing like Ionia PNZ set control and our second champion changes a bit, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm still messing with the list to see where we land on it, but Majin played like 4 games of it and decided it was dog shit. So I mean we'll see where it ends up. I'm glad that you're enjoying it because I had an unreasonable amount of success last night on it, so like I do need a coming to earth because right now I'm like, damn, this shit's kind of good though.
I don't know how many games. 7. I won 6, and it felt good. Like, it didn't just feel like I was doing nonsense. Like, it outright felt good.
Yeah, like the thing is like as like still ladder, like let's be honest, like the ladder quad is still not the greatest. But I'm having also so much more fun than I had before, and I'm enjoying so much the Jax Varus now. I think the deck is something in it. I do believe there's something in it. Like just having both cool taste cards and fish fight cards, like it's so crazy. I think like if you have the good half of the deck, like if you have the Jax, Momentus, and like fish fight, like the deck feels so good.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like double Runeterra decks should not exist. Because I had this take with like Aatrox Kane, where that one definitely felt like you almost couldn't int deck construction. There are almost not enough cards in that combination where you could even make a bad list. That's a little bit hyperbolic because there's still like 120 total playable cards in the region, but it's pretty dumb when like you're sitting there and you're like, oh, if I just like pick all of the good cards in these regions, well, I have a deck. That's like my deck building. Play all of the good cards because there aren't very many.
That's the deck. That's the deck. The Jax Varus is like playing just good cards. And honestly, like we wanted to make some. I was talking with people like about making changes to the deck, and we were like, we cannot cut anything. Every card that it's in the deck is so important. It's so good. Like are you gonna cut catch? No, you're not gonna cut fish fight. You're not gonna cut enhancing glue. Weirder. A moment to show. It's like so powerful cards. Every single of the cards are so powerful, and that's what I just see on the deck. Right? I'm just playing good cards, and like I'm just winning. It's like they combine so well together. Right? That's also
Yeah.
a thing.
I mean, it's not so much that. That's my problem. My problem is more that like we have like, I mean, it doesn't immediately spit out the number, but like if we just like take all of the good cards that are reasonable that I am allowed to play. I don't know, I'm probably allowed to play a Hookmaster.
Calculating. Okay.
I don't know, like I'm probably allowed to play some of these.
Yeah, but I see
I'm
your
at like
problem that
46
yeah.
cards. Like, I'm not trying to deck build Jax Varus correctly. I'm just trying to be like, if I play literally every card that is reasonable that I'm allowed to play, how close am I to a 40 card deck? And the answer with these double Runeterra regions is very close. Like,
yeah, I see the issue that there's no like much interesting things. Like what I'm like now thinking about, is it double wielder or is it one wielder? Like is it triple lure or two lures? Like that's exactly what I'm on now. It's like I'm just changing the details, but yeah, I just like the deck because it's just playing good cards. But I see your issue like of the double Runeterra regions, and especially like I think like things like Bard Evelyn actually have. I think you have exactly enough cards to even play that. For example, like
yeah, Bard is definitely an extreme case because I think he has 6 total cards. Like, Bard is by
I think he has
far
a
the
couple
smallest
more.
region.
Oh, you might. Yeah, it might be 6. Yeah. I don't know if I inherently like have an issue with that, but it is a little bit awkward. It was certainly one of the decisions of all time to give Jax fish fight and catch, and kind of crazy how those ended up being.
So, as much as I can
good.
say that like these Jax decks are like not my favorite thing to ever been around, do you remember when like Jax didn't have a fish fight and he was just fucking dead? Like this champion
He was
didn't
just-
exist.
He was Vane's side piece.
Yeah, he had to play this master so he gets the fish fight, right? Like you were playing Jinx only with the master because
And
he needed
to be clear, if you're playing a weapon deck in Demacia, you're playing Vayne. Like Jax was literally only available to Vayne. And it's like, that is not a particularly enjoyable experience for a champion. And I can definitely understand being like, this is ridiculous. We need to give Jax some spells. And you're seeing this with Nico. Where like, you want to play Nico? Well, like, good fucking luck. You have no spells. So you're dead. Like, you can't play Nico. I mean, we could bolster a region to the level where she's good, where you give like a specific region spells that are good with Nico, and you could make Nico be playable that way. But in terms of Nico being an interesting deck building puzzle, that will never happen until she has spells, because you just can't do it. You need spells. You need some level of interaction in your deck, and Nico provides nothing. I mean,
that's
the most
what we talked about like 2 weeks ago. That like she's like not good, and like she what how to buff her. I think actually like giving her some spells, but like it's kind of weird, especially and like you're gonna call some spell bird or what you gonna do. That's of course kind of.
The most exciting thing that I could imagine happening with Nico deck building is some like particularly out there deck builder. There are these people that like just want to flex their deck building prowess and they just do something interesting. And I would not be surprised if one of them tried to make Nico Rise work.
Okay.
With literally one Rise.
Well, no, that doesn't. No, the issue with Rise is that none of Rise's cards that he gets interact because none of them can target. Right? It's like
you could play Tellstones, right?
Yeah, it's just gonna be triple failure Tellstones, triple SI Tellstones, and that's it. That's our interaction suite.
Surely there's something else. What all is in the Rise region? I haven't seen the like joke Rise region decks in a long time. We get some draw.
Rise, you don't have wink on though. Like you need fair. Like you need to like wink
so
on.
Draw is all you have. That is the Rise region. Rise region is draw.
Vision. Encroaching shadows.
Okay.
Ramp.
Kind of crazy.
You
this
have
looks
9
just
lives?
worse.
This is a cat, right? This isn't a fucking cat? What the fuck?
This looks like it's more of like a bear, right?
This is a fucking cat, man.
Yeah, no, I think that you're better off just going Freljord at this point, right? You know, at least
Yeah,
Freljord has buried nice.
surely. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's kind of what we talked about forever with like Runeterra regions, right? It's why Jhin was like terrible for a long time. You know, outside of like literally Annie, you know, throw everything at the wall because like it just has no spells and like not enough like there aren't really like regions that cover enough of your bases to just like support a champion like this. And eventually we got to a point where like Bandle's fine because you know you get to play Broadmain and you get to do some condensed stuff and like you know Rex is like a playable card now.
to be
But
very clear, the Bandle Jhin deck is playing Jhin for 2 cards in the entire region. If Jhin didn't have access to Rex and Broadmain, you would not play Jhin.
Yeah.
Like, it is literally the fact that we want to play a
It's also
Broadmain
deny,
control
right?
deck.
no, we also
with
get
Jhin.
Deny. Come on,
And
So-
Sunhawk.
I think it's fair to say
KD
the
gets
deck
a landmark
plays
popper.
the deck plays options in Jin's package, but if you didn't have Rex and Broadmain, the answer is we're not playing Jhin. None of this other shit is worth it.
You're probably right.
Yeah, you're right. Like definitely down the like building pieces, especially like for bundle because the bundle has so many pinks, and that's why we're happy to get Broadman and of course Rex because you know Jhin interaction as well, and yeah, it's just a good finisher for the decks, especially with condense.
Yeah. Overall, though, you know, hopping back to the meta, I know that you know a lot of people are a little bit fatigued just because it's a lot of you know similar decks we played in the past. But to be honest, I'm enjoying this meta. I'm enjoying a lot of the decks. I like Jaceheimer. I really like Aatrox. Aatrox is one of my favorite decks that like has come out in the last year. You know that and like Seraphine. So like if they're playable, I'm very happy. I love Aatrox. So like honestly, I'm enjoying this meta. I feel like you can target most things in this meta. There's only a couple like really stupid decks. But in general, I'm enjoying the meta. I know that it's a lot that we've seen before, but like I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah, everything's beatable and like everything is playable.
Yeah,
You're still finding new things, right? Like Jax Varus now maybe popping off. The Seraphine deck now just popping off, you know. The Seraphine, even the Targon, even though I'm making fun of it, it's still like found out and it's a new kind of deck, even though it's very similar to the ones that we had maybe in the past. You know, now for example, your teammate, you know, cooking with Kennen Jinx, even though I think the deck is horrific, but he's cooking with it. We still finding new things, and I think the meta is how to stay. There's nothing that's like it's of course kind of boring. And if we had like maybe one Italy deck, if we had one Nico deck, it would be much better, right? But it's still fun. And it's very like especially it's gonna be very personal for like open, especially you know making the deck the lineups and stuff.
Yeah, I did.
53%.
Yeah, I found stats already. I mean, we're talking about 169 games, but
God damn.
I also would agree with you of like we're a little ways off of like the correct list right now. So like it's you can't really evaluate early stats too negatively because we will find better lists.
That's a good winner though, like for these like hard to play decks though. To be honest.
But my opinion on the meta has definitely improved over the past like 2 days or so. I'm still not going to say that I really enjoy the meta. I don't love it, but there's more going on than I originally thought, and the decks aren't offensive. We don't have something like Siren Song. We don't have just like wildly broken decks. My complaint really just boils down to I'm a little bit bored of some of these decks. I'm a little bit bored of Heimer Jace. I'm a little bit bored of Nasus Vagar. I'm a little bit bored of Fizz Samira. I did kind of identify this complaint that I had of if I've spent a lot of time on a deck and then it got nerfed, it's very unsatisfying to go back to the deck because you're playing with like this thing that you're deeply familiar with and it's worse. And it just feels bad. Like, there's no way they should have left broken Fizz Samira around. Like, absolutely no shot. But since that happened, Fizz Samira just kind of feels unpleasant for me to play.
Yeah, I can see that.
The like aggro version, I didn't have as much of this problem because it was playing very different cards. It played a little bit differently, and it didn't feel as much of like the deck you learned, but worse. But this one, like, I think I've literally been playing like these Fizz Samira 40 cards. and it just feels worse. So
But I'm gonna add on the Fizz Samira. I do believe that playing the monkey is still a better version. I think Shell is bad, like in my opinion.
To add on to Fizz Samira, I'm pretty sure Fizz Samira is just not good.
Yeah, but I think if you want to play Fizz Samira, I think the aggro, especially because the one drops. I think the stylish shot into double one drop or triple one drop on turn 3 or turn 3. Turn 2 and turn 3 is just so good that like I just hate Shell. I think Shell is so bad that yeah I do believe that the monkeys is still better, even though like of course monkeys cost 7 mana, but still 7 mana push at least 6. It's usually even more. So
the one drops. So I agree with you that like one of the most powerful things Fizz Samira has done since like the original nerfs, where like I think it was ridiculous that people were playing not combo Fizz Samira when you had like 1/5 Inferna +2/2 all out and all of that. Post nerfs like aggro Fizz Samira was like clearly better. At that point in time, going like paying warning shot into triple one drop or stylish shot into double one drop was like one of the most ridiculous things the deck ever did. It just pushed an outrageous amount of damage. It was so hard to stabilize from. But I really think 7 mana powder pandemonium is just terrible and unplayable at this point.
It's an insane amount of mana, but at the same time, like it does the thing. You know, it does the thing. You can't like sneak it in on like turn 4 anymore. You really are committing an entire turn to it. It doesn't give the vulnerable, so like you're not pushing as much damage, but like it does the thing. And I think that like playing against playing against the Fizz Samira deck, and it might just be me, but like if they spend their turn playing Shelly, I'm usually like, okay, that's not bad. That means they're not flipping Samira. That means that they're not actually applying pressure. If I have a card that like actually kills Shelly, I think I just came back into this game that you were stomping. Whereas like, you know, if they, you know, flip Samira on 5 and then like monkey me, I'm like, uh-oh, that's a lot of fucking damage I can't do anything about.
Yeah. I would be more interested in exploring like an aggro style that doesn't play Shelly and also doesn't play Pandemonium. You'd probably have to look for some top end to play because neither, or like at least not 3 Pandemonium. Because like I felt like the strongest Pandemonium hands from the like 5 mana Pandemonium days were this like double one drop, maybe one more Plunder Activator, Pandemonium on 4. And it's just like, this is an unreasonable amount of pressure. Not these like late game, like I'm gonna burn you out with monkeys Pandemoniums. It was this like, you're still having trouble stabilizing for my one drops. Here are 4 monkeys. And 7 mana Pandemonium just completely kills that plan. And I feel like the card is just, it's not offensively bad without that line, but it's definitely not something that I'm excited about doing.
Yeah. Also, you had to cut like Inferna because Inferna just doesn't make sense anymore. Even though it was even cut even before in the aggro version, but it's just unplayable of course with it. But when we get back to the meta, honestly, I don't mind any deck, but to be honest, Illaoi Swain. I think this deck, I just hate it. The difference between having idle and not having idle is so big. Like you have either 70% deck or like 20%. Like I'm sorry, like nothing between it. Like the idle is changing the deck so much, and like that's what I mind. Like, you know, when I play into Illaoi Swain, they pass on one, I'm like, yes, I guess I win. You know, like if they play idle, I'm like, I guess I lose. Like the difference is too big for me, and that's why I hate it.
It's definitely massive to flipping both of their champions, and this deck like very much relies on flipping its champions to do like the really strong thing. This deck, like it feels like it's beatable. Like every time I play against it, I'm like, okay, I could probably beat this, but like idle is just like unreasonable.
I honestly
has
think
efficient removal.
I honestly think Illaoi Swain is just a bad deck, but it definitely has draws that are. I'm gonna say what I'm actually thinking, which is this deck feels like Lurk, where like sometimes you just get lurked, and they're like a double natural Rek'Sai, you're fucking dead. But a lot of the times the deck just like does nothing impressive and dies, and like that is exactly how Illaoi Swain feels to me. Where like sometimes they curve double idle into 3-drop into Illaoi into Swain, and you're like, what the fuck beats this? Like nothing. And sometimes they like play a Swain that's at 4 out of 12 on turn 5, and that's their like pressure. And you're like,
Yeah, they actively cannot flip Swain. That's my
Yeah.
issue with the deck. The deck cannot flip Swain without idol. Sure, Tentacle Smash, sure, Fervor, but actively
Fervor's the
without
big
it.
one, I think.
Yeah.
Fervor's like you can sneak a lot of damage with Fervor, just flipping Swain. But the deck, I don't like playing the deck, but I've been playing a lot of it recently because people have just been like having success with it for like 3 months straight, and I've hated it the whole time. So like, fuck it, I probably just need to play this deck. And yeah, a lot of the games like just feel stupid. I just feel like I'm doing like this insane Illaoi thing. Like it's just the same Illaoi thing we've been doing forever, but like sometimes you have efficient removal and sometimes you have Swain flipped on 5. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the deck, but like it does the thing.
I mean, I do have this like perpetual bias in metas like this where I yell at people to play good decks, and I strongly look for just decks that are unreasonably good. And if there aren't those decks, which this meta is, I feel like every deck sucks.
Yeah, every deck has like clear weaknesses, and
Yeah.
it's just the thing. But also
I
clear
think-
powers, right? Like you have the power cards, but especially I just mind it on Swain early because the power card is just too strong. I think if you have it.
Like fuck Illaoi Swain, but like the deck I hate, I really hate, I despise, especially because it's griefing if you play it, because it's inting into half the meta. I fucking hate Nasus. I hate Nasus so much. I just the play style of this deck, it plays vaults, it just out tempos you forever, is fully untapped, but like is progressing its game plan constantly. So you have to spend mana into it. You can't beat this fucking deck down. The only way to beat this deck is like you play Jinx or like Fizz Samira, like the best decks in the fucking game. So they're griefy if they play Nasus, but fuck me, Nasus beats what I play. I fucking hate Nasus so much.
I
Nasus,
was like, yeah. I
Nasus
was like here, 2 weeks. Okay,
You can
I
go
was
first.
here
Go
2
right
weeks ago. I was saying that Nasus is gonna be amazing. I think especially for first weekend, it was like the best meta call, because everyone was like on Jax, a lot of Atox, Illaoi Swain, and this deck just destroys. Especially things like Atox and Unjax. Have you played this matchup? You're like, I guess I lose. Like,
I will have
cannot
you
do that.
know, I have an Aatrox game that lives in my memory. I think it was against AJ, who's in chat, which is pretty funny. Where I went pass, Vaults 5-drop, and he lost the game. And it's just like, what the fuck is this?
Like a beatable deck, and like the really frustrating thing is that Nasus doesn't end games. Like you can grind out against this deck like forever, and like sometimes you just get there. But God,
Yeah.
is it painful the entire fucking time?
So
I just despise this deck.
the Tristana meta, where like people were considering bringing Nasus to top cut, I had identified a game plan with Demacia Tristana that beat Nasus that involved playing Kennen, going to turn 30 against them by just flipping equipments around and refusing to ever die, because if you don't let them get 2 Nasus in play, they can't actually push through lethal, and you had truly unlimited chump blockers. And then you used Kennen 2 that you flipped off just natural Owlcats to just stun Nasus out of the way and eventually get lethal. And it took like 35 minutes to kill them. And I was like, this is the dumbest matchup plan that I'm confident works I've ever encountered.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing is that like you could survive against them. If Nasus just fucking killed you on 8, it'd be whatever.
Yeah,
It's the fact that I
atrocity,
have to
man,
sit in this game and like throw out my Bandle blockers forever and like just cope on grinding your ass out.
And I love
fucking hate
I
Nasus.
love the games when I'm having 18 health, I see 17 Nasus, he attacks and I'm like, okay. Sure. Like, good luck. Like, I'm still alive, I don't care, like, sure, 70 damage. And man, I miss atrocity in this spot because I want to die. I do agree with you. Like, it's always so painful, like when you're having some outs, but you still like, at that point you just cannot finish the game, but you still have some outs. So you're still in the game.
Kind of helps. It's better than Mono Nasus, thank God.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I thought everyone was the best, what's the best Nasus version, no? I think still my version is by far the most played, so.
This wasn't good. Please do not take this as me saying it's good. The most forbidden technology I've ever encountered in Nasus was I saw a list that had a Singleton Sun Disk. because you're playing Rockbear Shepherd and you can just flip Sundisk and get Nasus and Azir 3.
No,
And I was
there's
just
no-
like,
There's no way, dude.
it definitely wasn't good. Like, there's no way you have enough games going to like turn 30 where you're flipping Sundisk. But holy shit, I just looked at that and I was like, some Nasus player was like, it takes me 18 years to win the game. What's the solution? Sundisk. That's
That
the
deck has
solution.
so many hands that just like run out of playable cards, and you want to add like a top deck Sundisk. Holy,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Pretty best though, honestly.
I mean,
Okay.
unreasonably based, but yeah, I mean, not
It's
playing.
a
Yeah.
polarizing deck, yeah. Definitely, it's like the issue of the deck. It's like it's a really polarizing deck. It's like you meet with some decks, you're like okay, out of it. With some, as we were talking, like you're just having so bad time. So
I think again, I would hate it less if like the meta, like I think that like probably the best deck in the game right now is like Jinx. But like Jinx loses to Aatrox, like maybe Aatrox is, but Aatrox is anyway. But like when you're playing Nasus, and it's like, okay, you're just accepting that you lose to like Jinx and Fizz Samira, which like are probably some of the most popular like lineups. Like if you wanted to like just put together a lineup, those two fit together so fucking well. And it's like such a great starting place that like you're FFing to everybody who's not literally me. Can you go play somebody else, please?
I definitely understand the frustration for you, but like I felt like Nasus was always that. Like the Tristana meta, where like Nasus did not beat Karma, which was the third best deck at that point in time, did not beat Fizz Samira, which was the second best deck, and like kind of dubious into Tristana. Like it wasn't good or bad. It was just kind of like a matchup that was fine. And Nasus was still definitely good on ladder, arguable in tournaments, but good on ladder. And it was like, this deck just like crushes all of these decks that are like trying to beat what's good, and it's just like atrocious into the actual good decks. But
If you're trying to play honest, Nasus will just beat your ass. You have to go above it or below it. There's no
Yeah.
playing mid range into it. Which I think the other frustrating thing is that there aren't a whole lot of decks that go above anything nowadays. I feel like
Yeah.
so much of the game is like played on board, which like isn't a bad thing inherently. But like in the past, it feels like we've had, you know, stuff like Karmaset or like these combo decks that like if you're jerking off as Nasus, I'm gonna beat you.
yes.
We're gonna get to a point where I have established my combination of cards that is gonna destroy you. It feels like that hasn't really been like a playable strategy in standard. You know, I Karmaset, but like it, you know, got nerfed. So it's like I don't know. It feels like we're missing a point of the triangle that would make Nasus cry.
yeah, some Targon Control,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, I think this is like getting into the like problems that have surfaced with rotation, which to be fair, people were concerned about. I did not expect it was going to go anywhere near this problematic, but like certain regions are just non-functional, or at least non-functional outside of exactly one package. I think the best example is Shurima, where like Shurima has Nasus, Pike, Lurk. Okay. This certainly isn't
Nidalee,
like
Echo
super real.
Jinx? There's so many. What do you mean?
Like, I mean, we've seen Nasus, I think, 4 times on this list.
Okay, but like Echo's a real deck, right? And Nidalee's like pretty close to a real deck.
I mean, there are decks that you're like that exist, but in terms of like overtly good decks in Shurima, you're talking like actually just Nasus. And
Is
like
that the streamer deck though? Like,
I mean, I definitely think like most of the problem is Shurima really crutched on Absolver, and you rotated Absolver, so like Talia can't use Absolver, Akshan can't use Absolver, hell, Nasus
Talia's
can't
bigger
use
issue is
Absolver.
like losing Preservarium.
Yeah,
Like
Preservarium
Prez
as well.
just
cells,
yeah. Which to be fair, fuck Shurima, they deserved it. But like, you know.
Yeah, but I think Shurima is the clearest example, but I would say like Targon also has that problem. Like we have some like elusive stuff. We have a Pantheon. Like you can probably play some like Pantheon or Pantheon style decks, and like that's what we got. You can
And
play
it's
Spell.
elusives. Like
Run.
it just is elusives and Pantheon, especially
Yeah.
since like the Leona nerfs. Like if they unnerfed Leona, Leona would probably be good.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's just where we're at.
Yeah,
There's
that's
definitely a
fair.
lot of regions that are
Mhm.
pretty, one-dimensional feeling. But isn't that what's going to happen when you rotate, a third of your card pool and then you only release 50 card
See,
sets?
I
Isn't
kind
that
of agree
Yeah.
with that, except like Bilgewater, Bandle City, Piltover, and Zon, all doing great. They're just vibing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 3 of 10. There's like 10 regions in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then if Jax, like if Jax Asian as well. I think actually Jax is one of the best regions in the game currently. I think like that's actually an argument that they can make. Like,
Probably. Jax might be the best region in the game.
yeah.
like one of the best. It's not the best. I think Noxus, Bridgewater are better, but maybe
I
third
think
even.
Bandle might be the best. Bandle
Bandle
kind
is
of has like
quite good
30
right
decks
now.
right now. Like the Mecha-Yordle package is finally
Mhm.
coming into its own. The ping package like definitely exists. Yeah.
Kennen. I'm not gonna say that I was like a big fan of Kennen previously. That champion, what happened with that champion is sad. Like, he was like Ari's butt buddy. He was Ezreal's little abusive rat. And now he's a follower.
You want a quick attack, but you want more, man. Like that's a we were talking even before he was Curtis that he's gonna be used as follower, and it's
Uh,
finally okay. It's because he's 1-2-1 a quick attack, like. Can we
I
play
got to
Lucian? We played Lucian as well, like in the Lucian Illaoi, right? Like that's a good stat line. Like
I got into an argument on Reddit because the redditors are like, "Why do you run Kennen in this deck?" And half the comments are like, "Oh, but you see Kennen. Sometimes you flip him with like chompers, or sometimes you flip him." I'm like, "No, he exists in this deck as like discard fodder. Is like a cool one drop, and that's it."
it's Squeaker,
And
prefer.
then
We
like
can
an
pass
hour
Squeaker.
later, I queue on the ladder, and my opponent plays triple the Sand Soldier guy and flips Kennen. I'm like, "Motherfucker!" Like Kennen actually flips this deck. Come on.
Yeah. But Squeaker buffer as well, can give him +1 attack.
yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gonna tell you you should cut Kennen from this deck, but that guy's not a champion.
Yeah.
Kennen's ultra cuttable.
Yeah.
You could just play Teemo. Like the discard fodder comes up sometimes, but like Teemo,
You care about
can
one
just
up,
play
you care about one up. Like you just care about like the best hands of Jinx. I think that's like usually beating a lot of decks. It's just like if you have 6 right on turn 2, let's be honest. Like
Yeah.
if you have Chompers, you have Squeaker, you have one Mecha, and you have one ups. And yeah, that's how usually the deck is the strongest usually.
Yeah, I mean, is there like literally any other reasonable one drop?
Bird. You can play Bird.
Sure. That might be better than Kennen.
By the way, Kennen has skin, right? We were talking
can
about
play
follower
Teemo.
skins. We were talking about follower skins, So we
Yeah,
have already
I will
followers.
say, I don't know if you're supposed to play more than one Kennen, because I've definitely had this problem where I'm like, God, this fucking lightning surge. Why can't it be a 1 mana 2/1?
Lightning Surge, honestly, I think is like really good in the deck.
It's definitely fine, but I feel like I've definitely had more problems where I had lightning surge and didn't want it than wanted lightning surge. But
yeah. This Jinx deck, this Jinx deck was like really hot for a while. I was playing decks that beat it. Like I just have been, I'm playing like a Heimer Jace that like beats it. I'm playing Aatrox. I'm playing shit that beats it. But like goddamn, this deck just like when you draw well, it just gets there every time. It fucks. This deck really fucks. How do we feel about it?
Squeaker is so good. Like Squeaker is such an insane card. Like let's be honest on that. Like he used to be 2 mana 1/1, and I get it why. Like he's doing a lot for this deck.
yeah, I mean, I don't have particular frustrations with this deck outside of Jinx is a little frustrating still. I know we nerfed Rocket, but like last
Just a
card
push
Jinx
off,
is an unpleasant experience where like I mean
Jinx blowback, yeah.
it's probably fun for your opponent to sit there and be like navigate to a situation where I just play Jinx and she's flipped, but like it's really frustrating to be like, okay, I weathered the storm from aggro, they've got 1 card left. If it's like parts made whole, I'm a little unhappy, and it's just like Jinx, and you're like, oh, I'm fucked. Like
Yeah.
You're
I don't beat
9
this.
HP, but like it just doesn't fucking matter. You're
Yeah.
9 and they play Jinx, it's like I guess I'm dead.
Yeah.
They play Jinx blowback, that's 6. You don't kill her next turn, they get rocket. Like it's
Yeah.
it's sometimes not fun. Exactly as exactly there's as he's saying like very often I'm in a situation. Okay, he has 2 cards in the hand. If one of them is Jinx, I'm dead. If
Yeah.
not, I'm winning. And
Yeah.
like that's just the
So,
situation.
I'm not the biggest fan of Jinx, but she's definitely fine. Aggro's definitely been having problems lately, and it's more just like this is a frustrating experience, then I think she's like objectively overpowered. But
Yeah,
the
and
other,
at the end of the day, if you want to beat this deck, you can beat this deck.
yeah,
Right.
the other complaint that I kind of have with this deck is 15 one-drop decks are just not very pleasant to interact with because they do their one thing, they do it very reliably, and if you can counter 15 one-drops, they die. They do not have a backup plan.
Yeah. Also, something to as a pilot of this deck, Sandams, man, the difference between 2 drops, 5 drops of Mecha-Yordles and everything else is so big. Like, it's so crazy how much better the 2 drops, 5 drops. I guess 3 drops are decent, but like 4 drops and 6 drops are so bad. Like,
Yeah.
just like every time seeing them and like, oh, but you see the 2 drops and you're so happy about them. So it's maybe
There's
also
definitely been
frustrating point on
points where
that.
like you play Squeaker on 2, and it's like if I any of the 2 drops, I'm just winning the game right here.
Mhm. Yeah.
And like you just don't, and you get fucking Big Dipper, and it's like and the one that doubles its attack, and I'm like, oh my god, none of these cards are playable.
The Mecha-Yordles do have this frustrating thing where like I wish they would like rebalance the Mecha-Yordles and nerf some of them and like make Little Dipper and the impact doubling one like not just dog shit. Cause
Mhm.
that's not
Impact
fun.
doubling one. Okay. Terrible card, terrible. It's awful. It's awful. But I've been playing Jax Teemo because Tuxin is like all over the deck, and I keep playing it. I'm pretty sure it's terrible. But like this doubler with weapons goes really hard. Like it goes crazy fast.
I can see that there with like Fishhawk, right? Oh, the overrun one.
So like even just playing Jack's weapon on it, like just
Okay.
any amount of quick attack is really good. If you have like the +2 attack quick attack, then like this thing has 10 attack. Like it kind of goes crazy really fast.
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty
Um,
cool. But yeah, like let's be honest, like the difference between like I think especially like one mech is also bad. The Frodops are also bad. I think both of them.
I think
Even though
Shadow,
one mech sometimes can be decent, but
I think the elusive one is much more reasonable, but like I would say the elusive one and Bouncer and Bolt are the ones that I feel like landed at a good power level. Like they're useful, they're situational, and they're counterable. And then there's like Fury Horn Crasher, Geode Mecha, Forcer, and Smash and Dash that are just like, what the fuck is this?
I know everybody looks at like the 3-mana 4/4 double impact and like that card's really good. But I think the best one is Mecha Forcer, Geode Mecha Forcer. I think that card is insane.
It depends on the deck that you're playing against, because like against SI, they just like soul harvest it and don't care.
Yeah.
But like
nothing else can deal with this card efficiently.
Yeah. And like I would say like Fury Horn Crasher, Mecha Forcer, Smash and Dash, and like Doomnobber Mech are just like wildly above rate. Wildly above rate. And then there's like Little Dipper, Earthshaker, Professor Von Mech probably, and dubiously Salty Spinner, although the Salty Spinner I think is closer, that are just like wildly underrated.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing Little Dipper. I remember when I was playing Little Dipper, I was like, I was playing against Ione. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play hit on my Jinx. My opponent recalled my Little Dipper, and I was like, okay, I guess that was the mistake.
No, I think that I think Salty Spinner is better than everybody gives it credit for.
Yeah,
Is it broken? No, it's not broken. But I think you discard a lot with this deck, and it more often than not is hitting like a good set of stats.
It's definitely closer than the like other bad ones, where like Earthshaker, Little Dipper, and Professor Von Mech. Like I think you could unironically most of the time just not take these cards. Like if you just see them, just ignore them.
Yeah. I remember with Satisfying one game when I had my opponent had one blocker. It was Hash. He had one blocker. I had Chompers and Southeast Spinner. I had 9 stats, so a lot of combination. I got 7-2 impact, so like I just slammed him from 8 because I just took Chompers out. It was very funny. But I think it's pretty good, yeah. I think it's decent and much better than people think. Especially like, if you play Blowback Humash, like then he's getting big really fast.
I would definitely say it's like not the bottom of the barrel bunch, but I don't think it's up there with Bouncer and Bolt and Shadow Tech Walker, which are the ones that I put at like appropriate power level. But it is definitely not down there with Earthshaker, Little Dipper, and Professor.
To be honest, I think Shadow Tech Walker is just like kind of bad. I think it's actually just bad.
It's a matchup, like it's decent, like but I can see it's expensive very often.
It just fits into like no curves and like does no damage. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, like I think that the Mecha-Yordles are like really strong, right? Like I think the only reason that we look at something like this that's like, you know, not that great is because like the other 2 drops are fucking broken and the 3-mana 4/4 is fucking broken. And like the Dune Hopper's fucking broken. Right? Which to be fair, you should theoretically be paying a premium to generate these cards, right? So like they should be above grade, right?
My comment on like Shadow Tech Walker is like it definitely isn't always good, but it has like specific uses, and these cards always come off a manifest. So like having it in manifest pools, very agreeable to me. Because Shadow Tech Walker, like I'm sure you've had experiences where like Shadow Tech Walker is by far the best Mecha-Yordle, either against you or as you. Where like, really? You haven't had ones
This
where
card's
like
just bad.
boards climb up?
The only time it's good is when you're so fucked on board that the only way you could possibly win the game is like this Prage elusive, but it only does 3 damage, so it's not really bailing you out of much. That's been my experience, but I could be wrong.
I've definitely had experiences where Shadow Tech Walker was wildly the best one, and it doesn't feel like, I wouldn't say it's common, but I wouldn't say it's rare. I'd say it's like uncommon to have that.
It's a good playoff, and I like to see them finally sync play because they were so meme like in the past a lot, and like I love to see them be blank. You know, it's much better, you know, than like invokes, right? Let's be honest, invokes are, when we look at it, I don't know if we want to look at the invokes, but some invokes are not medical cards at all. For example, like
yeah,
You could main deck some of these cards. A Moonsilver, I'd main deck Moonsilver.
I guess in Seraph Index, yeah.
I
mean, in Modex, I guess, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but you should remember. Do you remember when the Scourge didn't have Overwhelm?
Yeah, that card was. Hey,
okay,
nowadays, I feel like a lot of people like just don't expect Celestials, and like sometimes you can fit them in. I was playing the Seraphine Targon, and like sometimes generating a Supernova was pretty fucking good, and sometimes you just cheat your way in with the with the Scourge. Like they're not bad. I do kind of feel like Targon needs like main deckable Traveler. Like if Traveler is just the deck you could put a card you could put in your deck, maybe Targon would be okay.
I definitely think Targon. Well, the bigger problem that I feel like Targon has is if you're wanting to play an Invoke deck, you don't have a champion. You can play like Asol, but if you put 3 Asols in your deck, you have Inted.
Seraphine, that's your Invoke champion.
Seraphine,
Karma, maybe you could.
Yeah, but I do agree. You don't have payoff now. I think the Targon control package is so good now. Like Young Link, Falling Star, and these things is just so good. But especially now Stones with the new hash, I think it's very good. But you just don't have the payoff, and like Aso is not payoff. You're just dead before 10/10 usually. So.
Yeah,
Sunburst is still like a crazy fucking card, right?
Yeah. I felt like Asol has since like way back when, like pre-Aphelios release when Asol was like actually good. I felt like Asol has needed like a reason to put 3 Asols in your deck because there have been decks since then that were like, I'm interested in a top end of 1 Asol with like my Dragon's Clutch, whatever. Like that is a situation that's come up. But if you're telling me like I'm gonna try and get you to play Asol, the answer is like I'm playing 1 because I'm not willing to draw 2 Asols by turn 5. So.
Yeah, I love the Dragon Clutch, the 7-drop plus Aso. That was always such a cool deck, and I like that a lot in the past, but it's just not good enough. And you just need some payoff. And hopefully, the next champion of Dragon gonna fix it. Hopefully, I guess, because we really need something. We need some like Aphelios. We need some maybe Zoe, something like that. We really need in standard. I feel like
it's pretty toxic that Aphelios and Zoe both got rotated. It's a little toxic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that gets kind of sad.
Oh god, wait, when did we get killed? Did we get killed this year or last year?
Last year. We good think like next.
Okay, so we're still gonna get a Targon champion at some point.
We didn't get that.
Glad to hear it. I was worried for a second that we had already gotten our allotted Targon unit.
Yeah, we're gonna get the Morgana, right? The stun, surely. Spell shield. Maybe.
I mean, Morgana does feel like the type of champion that would make a control Targon deck interesting. But
Hard to say. Yeah. If it's even
It's
Morgana,
so
we
many
don't
good
know.
cards. You know what card is really good is the stun 2 card at fast speed.
Celestial Wonder. I think.
I think that card's really good.
Mhm.
There's actually a lot of really good Targon control
We don't have
cards.
the wing gun, right? We don't have, and like the invoke is just not. I don't know. Either like buff all invokes, I think, or just like we need a champion. Like that's what needs to
It
happen
feels
for
like
Dragon.
Yeah, it feels like there's so many puzzle pieces. It just needs something to like pull it together.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Some
no,
wing
every
gun.
time I play
Yeah.
Seraphine, like I have a Celestial Wonder in hand, I'm just like very happy. Like this card's just good. But yeah. It's Malphite. Malphite's the top end, guys. That's
Yeah, I saw in the Seraphine Caitlyn one Malphite. I was like, yeah.
I was playing the Seraphine Caitlyn. I'm like, guys, this deck is terrible. My chat was trying to convince me, no, you just have to play Malphite, bro. Malphite really brings it together. He's Stun Spider. Stun Spider's so good.
Yeah, Malphite is also one of the champions that just like got so bad because of the rotation. Like he lost every the Shrimal and Mugs, right? Mostly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
him and Talia, I guess. I like, yeah.
it's definitely just this like experience across a bunch of regions. I mean, I think Targon and Shurima are like some of the poster childs, but it's just like these decks don't like. There are some packages that are supposed to be here, and they're just not functional. You rotated like too many critical cards from these packages, and the package just doesn't work.
I'll say I'm kind of hoping that like next balance page we're gonna get like I think we're gonna get like 100 buffs honestly, and I think it's still like it's something that I can hope a lot the standard. I think maybe something standard needs because like the difference between the good packages and bad packages is so big currently. I think.
I mean,
We say that, but like, aren't there like 35 playable decks right now? Like,
so I feel like the real complaint is that like if you look through champions, like frequently you'll just run into these champions that are like, this champion could be functional in standard. Like it's a lower power level, but you rotated critical cards for them and they just cannot function without it. Like the one that really comes to mind on the first line is like, Ari, you rotated Mourned and Homecoming. How are we leveling Ari? Like, I would be interested in an Ari deck in standard. The power level is low enough. I feel like you could
Faded
hit some stuff.
Lovers. Faded Lovers,
That's in the wrong region, yeah. Where it's like,
no, you're playing Targon,
Uh,
Ari. That's Targon. There's something there.
Okay.
yeah. And it's just like, you just like consistently run into these champions that had like critical parts of their package rotated. And like, what are you supposed to do with this champion now?
Yeah. It's like it's so weird on a lot of champions. It just feels like not. Yeah. It just
Yeah,
tells me
I've
something.
kind of made my peace with standard by just like accepting that it's a world where there's going to be limited amounts of things that you're going to be able to play. There's going to be limited amounts of like styles that you're going to be allowed to play, and I just kind of have to be okay with it. You know,
Yeah.
like I was never a fan of rotation. I've been fighting rotation from day fucking one. At this point, it's like, ah, fuck it. I sometimes I'm just not gonna have decks that I enjoy, and that's okay.
My complaint is more that like there are champions in standard that I don't understand why they were left. If and it's just like
I guess maybe.
Hmm?
Akshan is also like very sad, right? Like
Akshan, I think, is a little more justifiable because like they were hoping that he could carry Shurima, and it just did not pan out that way.
yeah.
But like there are just like endless champions where I'm just like, why is this even
has
here?
a champion.
Nocturne?
Like, everyone talks about like losing Absolver, killing Shurima. Shurima has a champion. It just doesn't take a champion slot. Zolani, like Bloodletters, is an absurd fucking card, and that is your win condition and is your champion 99% of the time.
Yeah.
And like Bloodletters goes crazy with Akshan because you could just like cycle it over and over. Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with like that, but it's weird. It's weird, and yeah, hopefully with the merchant builder being like it's gonna fix even some like region problems. But these champions are gonna have the issue unless they get something in variety patch, I guess. That's something that maybe it's gonna be the point, give something in variety patch to Ari, but
It's kind of gotten to the point where I look forward to the variety patches more, just because I feel like there's going to be like a little bit of off the wall thing I can build around that comes
Second
out.
Condens, yeah. Like Condens was cool card, like, even though Giga busted, I think. It gave a lot of decks though. Like that's something like
Yeah.
that was very cool on.
It's
And
so fun.
I think if you look at the variety page that we got, like we got so many cool units that I think helped a lot of, especially Jax got, especially the healing weapon master. That was also a big help for him. We got blowback for Jinx. Every Jinx deck since that just plays it, even though a lot of people thought that blowback is a bad card, but we just showcased that the card is amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that people thought that blowback was a bad card. I couldn't imagine who would,
Yeah,
say
who
what
that.
would that
Who
be?
Yeah.
Interesting. But
But I do like the variety sets. Like I'm excited for the next variety set, just because it feels like we get cool things with it.
yeah. I guess to a little bit move on. You can maybe talk about the dev talk that we had. I think that's maybe the second biggest thing to talk about.
I don't feel like the dev talk really should have given anybody information because I felt like everything they said people should have been able to realize. But I'm glad to see it like directly stated that LOR has declined, at least in terms of like resources given to the team, which you can kind of infer reflects the overall performance.
Also, we get some spotlight by Neko. That was pretty cool. That
Yeah.
like he was talking about that, and it maybe gives maybe a little bit more light. Yeah, I guess there was nothing like kind of new. That's maybe the issue. Did it be something good? I guess the legacy should be good new. That's something that is kind of
Legacy
exciting.
Shop. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Legacy Shop is pretty cool. The fact that they're like at least pausing or like scaling back releasing of boards and guardians, I feel like that should have happened like so long ago, which I suppose it did. They're just being more formal about it. But like
It did a year ago.
I'm sorry, but like they released way too many boards and way too many guardians, and like I could have told you immediately that people are not going to buy huge quantities of these. Like,
Yeah.
I
Also, like non-clickable birds, like we had the Sentinels birds, we had KDA birds, and then you got these non-clickable birds, and I'm like, what are you doing with it? Like, why? Like, what is the purpose? Like,
I own like 5 boards. I think I've bought like 2 of them. And like I would have a lot more if they were clickable. Like I do think that there is like, merit to like variety and like swapping out, like different boards. It's just I think that a lot of the boards right now that I can buy, I just don't think are necessarily worth it. And like when you put out a new board and you don't give it clicky, like fuck, dude, it's just never gonna beat like the auction board. Like even the one I got for like top 16, right? Like it's a cool board. I like the board. I can't fucking click on it. You know what I'm back to? The auction board. Like
yeah. I'm with the KDA, but like, I'm just like happy with it. The Guardians, I get it. I was never a fan of them, to be honest. Like I use my dagger that I have like from some past, like for like 2 years now. I really didn't care about them. I guess Chip was cool because that was like having a lot of like, it was pretty hype with also the card and stuff. But yeah, the Guardians, I guess, was kind of more expectable, maybe to be a little bit more, fair. But
I think the Guardians are cool. Just kind of.
the Guardians
Yeah,
are
I don't know. I just
cool.
don't feel like there's ones that like really speak to me. So I just use the gay elephant, and I've used the gay elephant since I got it. But like
what's it called? The Guardians are cool. I like that they exist, but I just have a really hard time seeing people like actually want more than 1 or 2 or maybe a couple of ones, because like the two of you basically said like I have this one guardian that I like and I use it, and I am the same way. I use Moonstruck Poro, the little blue Poro that you got for participating in the open beta. That is the only guardian I use, and it's like I have the one guardian that I like to use and I use it. And I mean, I have so many goddamn guardians because I buy most event passes and they come with a guardian for a while, and so I've got like 80 guardians or some stupid thing. But like,
yeah, but like if they came out with one that like looked really cool, if they had like Sigmund, right? If they came out with Sigmund as a guardian, like you would still get it, right?
For Sigmund, yeah, but like, I don't know. I like cosmetics that mean something, that aren't like I spent money on this item, so I have it. And so I really like stuff like the Moonstruck Poro because I basically show it's like I've been around a while. I also really like the top 16 board, although I hate that it's not clicky. So.
And even oh my god, right? Even if you're not gonna like copy and paste the clicky, because you can. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. even if you're not going to do that, let me buy the other auction chromas. I was broke as shit when the bundle came out the first time. I can only buy the one.
You're gonna
Let me
have
get
the
red
legacy
one.
shop.
I
We're
want the
gonna have
red
the
one.
legacy shop. We're gonna have the legacy shop with that. And that's something I think that's amazing way how to monetize that. So I guess you can also touch that. It was one of your themes that you want to touch on. And if you have something more to do the monetization, there's that. But I think that's like legacy shop is amazing thingy. Also, I think like something that I think maybe something like your shop or like this legacy shop like should appear very often in my opinion because it's like it's a thing that like I know that worked for example on me in League. I saw I didn't care about much that skin, but I saw it in 50% off. Okay, I'm buying that. Like, and that's something that just works on people, and it's just amazing way how to monetize the game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think LR needs to like look towards options to monetize better. I mean, I've been yelling at people on Reddit and Twitter for the past day or so. I know that people really like that LR is super free and super generous, but like LR needs to make more money. That is the takeaway that I had from the dev talk. And I don't think that the answer is just like increasing the cost of cards and making LR like expensive to play. Because first of all, I think that bridge has sailed, and second of all, like I think trying to make a free to play or more easily free to play card game is a worthwhile endeavor. But they need to figure out a way to monetize better. And like one of the ones that keeps coming up to mind is like, why aren't there skins for like non-champions? Because like I felt like a Mystic Shot skin would have sold like just an outrageous amount to anybody who played large quantities of your game.
I think they've touched it in like one lore report. The lore report was like tweeting something. I don't exactly remember what was the answer, but yeah. But yeah, I definitely agree with like those things. I think also something like. Of course, it's like in a league you have the crafting system. What if it does like for some orbs? Maybe you can get some for free. But mostly you're gonna. We have a lot of skins already. I don't know how many. I don't know how many skins we have, but like there's already like you can maybe make some capture that like cheaper than average skin. Of course, it's like kinda I guess I don't know like gambling or something. So it might be like issue in like some countries, of course. But it's just something that I think just people enjoy. Opening the capsules, getting random skin. You can maybe get some only exclusive to the crafting. It's gonna be skin that you cannot buy, but you can get only to that. And if it's gonna be I don't know something like pool party array, I think people are gonna spend a lot of money on that. So
I think
I think that's also a
the
way
other
how
thing
to
is, like,
monetize it.
if our solution is to like set up like entirely new systems, like the issue is like Caplar Riot already just isn't funding LOR as much, right? So like if our solution is like do this really cool new system, I'm not sure if they have the resources necessarily to do that.
So
Which I think is why like monetizing old content's like definitely like it seems like a no-brainer.
yeah,
Right?
the one that I
Is
like.
that expensive though? Like just making like random open created Kenyatta. I don't know. Like I don't think that's that expensive. Like
Well, the stuff that comes to mind is like there are certain spells that have like really good animations tied to them. The ones that come to mind are like the Ruination, where like Ruination resolves and it's just this whirlpool that drags everything down. It's a really good, really clean animation. And they clearly have the technology to put these like animations onto spells. And I felt like you could monetize that system. And basically, I would like them to continue to be making animations to make the game feel clean or something, but basically make more and sell half. So like you can have your Mystic Shot that just works like a normal Mystic Shot and doesn't do anything exciting, or you can have a Mystic Shot with a nice, cool little like VFX. And I feel like people would pay for that.
If they made a Mystic Shot, but it did the Banana Blaster emo or the Banana Blaster animation, that would probably sell like crazy.
yeah,
That would
like,
be.
there are definitely like so many ways how to do that. Yeah, it's kind of pretty, but yeah.
There's just like these systems already in place that I feel like you could expand and monetize. Where like I understand you're not just gonna like expand and not monetize because like the whole point here is how does Riot make more money off of this? But I feel like there is stuff that you could do more of and monetize. So
Probably. I mean, there's almost certainly like a million things that we would like them to do.
I saw the recent like skins on actual champs that are played. Like I just do think that if you is Samira that strong, I think we got now the skin on Samira. I think I'm sorry, but if you really busted champion, I think you have to expect that Samira was good, right? Like, come on, like you had to see that.
So
But okay,
Please
nothing
skin in the
else-
same patch. Come
if
on, like,
nothing else, shouldn't we do the League of Legends thing where you release every champion with a skin, regardless of whether or not it's broken? Because people will cope on
Mhm.
Italy for 2 days and you can sell a skin.
yeah. I'd like package. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, sure, but like literally just every champion should release with I mean, if you weren't trying to give skins to most champions, like, okay, maybe we need to like cut corners somewhere. I get it, but like, it seems like you're just trying to give every champion a skin. So ship it with it. Like, people will
Yeah.
sell before they find out that Poro King sucks.
Mhm.
What happens now if you release a Poro King skin?
Yeah.
in general, I agree with you. But like, I do think it's just a resources thing, which is a shame. But yeah, ideally everyone would have a skin, and everyone would have really cool skins. But at the same time, like, okay, when we're talking about like good champions, like it would be really cool if every good champion had a skin, and like realistically, every new champion that comes out should have a skin. But at the end of the day, if you're making skins based off of the viability of your cards, then like that's probably not a world we want to live in. I mean,
Yeah. Also, like they're making like a year the skin or something like that. What was in the thing is so like they're long in making. So like
Yeah.
are you gonna make now skin for example? I don't know for Illaoi now because she's good now. What in here? What do you know what's gonna happen in here, right? Like so.
Gallia has 2 skins. Wait, does he have? He has like a World Breaker skin or something, right?
I have
What
no
skins does
clue.
Galio have?
He has Purifier. I know that one. I
What is
saw it
Purifier?
once. The Arclight skin something.
Oh, really?
Oh, he has an Infernal one. He has Infernal and then like a
Infernal Malphite? Or not
Infernal
Malphite, Galio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Justicar Galio. Wait, that actually looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah, we
Man,
should
wait,
buff
wait,
if
Galio.
Galio was playable, yeah.
Wait, holy shit! Wait.
Okay, how about this? How about this? Instead of making skins around our balance, how about we balance around our
around skins.
skins?
Oh my, that's actually a 5-head.
So that skins, yeah. Buff Hecarim. Hecarim has a great skin.
There was some meme in the league though that they every time they release new skin they buff the champion or something like that.
5-head.
I mean,
Holy shit!
is that the
That's
healthiest way to handle your game? No.
Does it
No, but I
work?
kind of
Yes.
like having cool skins, you know.
Yeah. So that definitely a lot of to do, I think, and
It is nice when like a new brew comes up, with like champion I haven't seen in a while, and I load it up, and then I click on the skin tab. I'm like, oh, I have a skin for this guy. That's so cool.
yeah, from pass, yeah, exactly. Man, but yeah, the passes were hyped. So like the last one, like we have 3 skins in it. Like it's so hyped too. Like I don't know how many people bought it. Of course, like there's like skin for Evelyn and Pike. I don't think I'm gonna use them ever again. But that's also a cool Gwen skin. So
I have 2 Evelyn skins now. I hate Evelyn. I hate Huss so much. I have 2 Evelyn skins.
I mean, I do have to say, Spirit Blossom Evelyn is like the most outrageous value I've ever seen in a skin.
It wasn't even a legendary either. It was like a normal price. Like, yeah, no, I bought the Evelyn
Okay,
skin.
something else. If you're gonna do stuff like this, where Evelyn is gonna get a bunch of skins that are associated with her, where are the Evelyn follower Spirit Blossom skins? Because like, why is this work not reused? You put so much work into this Evelyn skin, and the fact that you're not selling like a suitor, a domination, a steam, a siren
like-
song skin, like.
What if there's like just a $5 thing where like all of your husks just get painted with the Spirit Blossom thing, right?
yeah,
Like,
I
it
think
doesn't matter
you-
where they
like yeah.
I think you should do a bundle of the other followers, but I think it should be you shouldn't buy a skin for your husks. You should buy a skin for the cards that happen to be
Maybe.
husks.
Mhm,
And
I
like
can see that.
Heimerdinger, like Pool Party Heimerdinger is cool. You should probably update all the turrets to be Pool Party and sell like a Production Surge, a Brash Turret Generator skin, a Hextech Handler, an Adaptatron, and then the like 2/5 tech that nobody plays but exists.
It would be pretty cool. I will say, like, the only reason I haven't bought Star Guardian Jinx yet is because Arcane Jinx has like the blue Get Excited. I think the blue Get Excited
Yeah.
is cool as shit. So like, I could definitely see it.
Yeah,
I
the
think-
arcade skin was so cool, yeah.
I think skinned like followers or tokens or stuff is like very untapped potential because I think it would be better to put more effort into your like champion skins not quite to the level of Evelyn. Evelyn is definitely an extreme case, but like put a little bit more effort into your champion skins and reuse it anywhere you can in their package, wherever this thing is, reuse it.
Just Elise skin, right? The
Yeah,
spider.
Elise would be a great example of like the spiderlings. Put a little bit more effort. Maybe make like 3 different spiderling variants where like she just randomly summons a spiderling A, B, or C, and they're all the same card. They just have slightly different art, and every spider card gets in Worldbreaker skin to go with it. And you sell those. Like, to be clear, this isn't just like buy your Elise skin, everything gets skinned. Like, sell those as well. Make a bundle so that people can buy all of them. But I think stuff like that would go well.
If there were like alt arts and for like spiderlings and shit, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. It's definitely a way how to modernize it, and I think it's might be working definitely.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like there are a lot of ways to monetize. At the end of the day, though, I think that's just like a capital R Riot thing, where Riot as a company just like isn't putting as much.
Yeah, it's just like it's just sad to see. Like, I still don't get why LOR is not like an elite client. Just mention, we exist. I guess we have a Riot client now, but who uses a Riot client? Like, let's be honest. Like,
being mentioned or like having like our events be like a tiny little square or something would be kind of cool in there. I wouldn't actually want to be a part of the Riot or the LOR or the League client, because the League client is shit. The League client is super.
Yeah, no, but like just mention or something like that's something that just work for Blizzard. I think, especially with Battle.net. Every time when I was booting Hearthstone, I saw the Diablo, I saw World of Warcraft, I was like, Overwatch. I was like, maybe I want to actually. I think I started playing Overwatch because I saw it in Battle.net and when I was playing Hearthstone, like it actually worked for me. Like,
if it even just like mentioned like new set come out, or like something like that would be.
Yeah.
I suppose the real thing that I would want, similar to what Bai is asking for, is I'd like the League client to be forced to go through the Riot client a bit, because if you boot up LOR, it actually like briefly boots up the Riot client, and you can see like other offerings. But that one's a little bit of a hard sell. So
when I click on it, mine goes directly to like the login screen. Like
I
it is
see
like the Riot client, but it doesn't do like it doesn't show like the tiled which Riot game would you like to play. It just
unless you're on open Riot client exactly. If you're open exactly Riot client, it shows you other games and like it's pretty cool. But yeah, also what I kind of like is something like that I know had Hearthstone that I don't know if you played Overwatch, you get like Overwatch card back. That's maybe something like that might be like a thing as well. But
yeah, and we've said it forever, right? You release Pool Party Ari, but the only way to get it is by playing 10 games of Legend Runeterra.
Yeah, as much as people enjoy the joke of like Pool Party Ari, I don't think stuff like that is like a sustainable business model, because like there's only so many fan favorite suggestions that you can release, and you're just gonna run out and end up back at the problem. Like, yeah, I'm sure the League of Legends team has been iterating on Pool Party Ari for a long time in the expectation of eventually releasing it, but
and you can't release it now, right? The expectations are just too high.
yeah,
too high.
the guy's gonna be disappointed, man. Like, but it's free printing money glitch, man.
Pool Party Ari is going to be a legendary, or it's going to be an ultimate skin. It's going to have 6 different arts, and pick which one you want. Yeah, that would be. I don't know. It would be nice if there was a little bit more cross promotion. Like I do think that like the whole LR mention means like a little bit cringe. But it also like stems from the fact that it kind of does feel like we're ignored a lot of times.
Yeah.
How many events have there? I mean, there haven't been that many events, but there have been events where it was like across all Riot games, and you like look at the logos and you're like, all. Sure is it all, yeah.
Yeah. I do like that we were part of the Soul Fighter thing, right? Like I think that's cool. I just like being included, man. I just want to be included more.
Yeah. But you got the hat as well, though, didn't you?
Oh, I got a thing from Riot. Yeah, I'm not a part of the LPP, but they sent me the thing. It mentions League of Legends like 4 times in the box, and I don't play League anymore. But I got the thing, so I mean, I'm happy.
What about me? Smile.
Bro, you're not even a Twitch partner. I don't know, man. You're kind of a brand risk.
I can't wait to get 8 this grind, but yeah, it's just sad to see. But I still see a lot of potential, and I do believe like we are the best card game on the market, in my
Yeah,
opinion. And
I mean, I strongly believe that LR has like the best system of any card game. I feel like Magic, as much as Magic has some like good things going for it, that game has a lot of baggage from being designed over 30 years ago when people didn't quite know what they were doing yet. And I don't know. I feel like even people deep into Magic understand that the land system is like really dumb sometimes. Like there's plenty of
Magic
games
is
that work
fucked.
fine, but like the lands are really dumb occasionally.
Magic is fucked. I'm getting a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh content in my YouTube feed, so I'll watch it. And like Yu-Gi-Oh's fucked too.
Yeah,
Like
Yu-Gi-Oh!
there's way too much shit.
Mhm.
There's just way too much shit getting carried over.
yeah,
Like it really is like LOR is kind of the
Yeah.
best, and it's kind of not close.
I don't know if you played Hearthstone, but Hearthstone I think was a significant improvement. But Hearthstone has different problems of just being like a little bit too simplistic, I think, for most people's tastes. It is pretty nice as an entry point, but like there is just less depth to the game because turns out if you like remove the ability to interact with your opponent, it's like a lot harder to have a complicated game. I mean, you can find it. You can definitely like play competitive Hearthstone and seek out that complexity. But if you're just playing Hearthstone the way most people engage with Hearthstone, it is hard to find the complexity. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
I
know?
genuinely struggle to imagine, it's just like watching your opponent play the game and like you don't get to do anything on their turn. I just I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just
like it's just man. I couldn't play like Hearthstone currently. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm just so used to like just be seeing what my opponent does. And I remember when I was playing Hearthstone, I just was alt tapping. Like I was like, yeah, what's going? In 5 minutes, okay,
yeah.
I can play. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that like Hearthstone is impossible to have complex games in because you definitely can. It's just like when you pare it down that much, you have to go seek out the complexity without just the complexity being there for you to engage with if you want.
Mhm.
Um,
Even though
so
we talked about a lot about monetization, I want to also touch one thing here because I saw some campaigns that are going to pay to win, and it was because the Infinity Gauntlets. What do you think about that? Do you think are you a fan
I
of that? What do you think about that you could have played how many times you wanted the December during 5 days?
look, I played the exact number of gauntlets that I wanted to play that event, which is 0.
okay. So I played assload of gauntlets. I probably played like 15 this weekend,
Same.
which is just like an insane amount, right? But like from Thursday to Sunday, I think I played 15. Do you know how many times I bought coins? 0. Do you know how many times I bought coins before? Once. That was last season, and then I carried over like 6 into this season. I don't. Uh, somebody was in my chat because I was like, yeah, people are complaining that's like pay to win. Yeah, and they're like, well, it is. How many did you play, and how many do I get to play? I only got to play 2. How many did you play this weekend? Yeah, like 15. And I earned my coins along the way. They give you like 4 fucking coins. There's like 4 coins on the track right now. Like if you're playing the fucking game, you're gonna get them. And like there definitely is a certain amount of like you can pay and like get 1 or 2 wins and then pay and get 1 or 2 wins and you can get these free wins, right? But like prime glories aren't even all that good. Like they're good, but at the end of the day, you're using them on like these games where you're playing against people who are at 0 and 1 wins, right? Who like are probably going to be your easiest games throughout the day. And like rare playing card game at the end of the day, even at the very best, you're going to lose sometimes to people who just like high roll or you or low roll or whatever. And like it's always nice to have the free wins. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's ultra impactful. I think that like the amount of like benefit that you're getting from like paying for them isn't like insanely high. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to spend to get my second prime glory, maybe I'd have a different perspective on it. But like I have my second prime glory. So I don't know.
Also, I have to add on, as a streamer myself, it was such a good content to like be streaming the Gauntlets because it was ultra competitive, especially because they're not one, there were only people that were doing the same thing as I was. They tend to be like very competitive players, so even the games were very competitive, and it was very fun to play these Gauntlets, especially on stream. Like I just had competitive game into competitive game, and it was such a cool experience for me, for example.
I definitely think it's like pretty unimpactful. I would agree with you, Aikado, where like even if you get the prime glories or miss the prime glories, I think it almost doesn't matter. Like, it obviously does affect your win rate some, like your chance of top cutting, but like, I think it's essentially irrelevant. I do think the optics are pretty bad because if someone says like, "Oh, Runeterra opens are pay to win," like you have to have like this long, lengthy conversation to explain to them how you think it's like not particularly impactful, so it's not pay to win, and like they don't
I
pay
don't have
attention.
to. I could just call him a dumb fuck, but
Okay, well, then they don't listen, and they come away thinking LOR opens are ultra pay to win, and it's like, okay, the optics are bad, even if I think it's like these people are being a little silly, but I'd like to see it cleaned up just for optics reasons.
the amount of like coins that you could get for free, like free Rumble coins, before it's like no longer pay to win. Because the only people who are paying are people I don't know, who aren't getting free wins. If you got trophies at 0 wins, maybe I'd agree with you. You don't get trophies at 0 wins. 1 win barely gives you any trophies. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Also, yeah. But what do we think about the completely about the gauntlets? You know, we are sometime into the gauntlets. What do we think completely about the system? Do we like it? Don't we like it? I saw.
I don't have negative opinions, but I just like don't play gauntlets. I mean, okay, I guess I do have like an unfair perspective because I'm like one of the 16 people I think right now that are just like completely free from the competitive structure. I can just fuck off until Worlds and still play. So I don't know if I can actually give like the take that would be my take if I was forced to engage with this system.
So I play a ton of gauntlets. You know, especially like best of 3 gauntlet. I love best of 3 gauntlet. I think it's very fun. I think that the average like player level is like significantly higher than even on ladder. You know, my Ruthless Rumbles over the weekend, like I was just playing like real players over and over and over and over and over. It's kind of depressing, honestly, because if I check my Runeterra AR, instead of having like cute little 80% win rates next to all my decks, I have like 65% win rates because I've been playing real fucking players all weekend. But yeah, no, I enjoy them. I think that like the system overall is like solid. I think that like having stuff to play for is awesome. I think that like the only like way to play the game being ladder was like really annoying, and a lot of people who are like, you know, upset that you know that you get benefited by playing gauntlets. I think at the end of the day, it's better. You know, especially for somebody who plays the game every day. And like maybe for other people it's different, but like I enjoy gauntlets a lot. I think that them existing is good for the game. Yeah, overall I have positive feelings. I feel like there's, you know, the reward track should probably have different things on it. It's crazy that the last 2 rewards are champion wildcards because the only people who are getting that fucking far don't need the champion wildcards.
Yeah.
I think that there could be like a rebalance in there and like maybe more encouragement to get like more casual players more interested in playing in these. You know, if you like front loaded some champion wildcards or something, then people who are like, oh, I'm really close to getting the new deck. Let me play Gauntlet. I think like that could be valuable. But at the end of the day, I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I do like them a lot. And as I think my issue because before we didn't know like that the number is gonna be like repeatable, so we didn't know that. So like I was like it was kind of a chore, you know, to me. Like I was like, you know, I have to play them because I want that for events. And now that when we have the sample actually like infinite that we can play it how many times, you know, I guess I don't have to play Gauntlets, and then I could just have, you know, the 5 days and just, you know, play them. Because, you know, I can practice for the open as well, you know, having the quality game and get my trophies that I want. So that's feeling good. I especially think like Freebird was so fun, and like even though people were saying that their brothers are the most broken thing, we saw that Lava just shut everybody down, and like we saw that like the format is so much exportable, and I think we have so many decks to maybe find, and it was pretty fun to me. So I like them, and I don't mind them.
Also, my enjoyment of Gauntlet goes up significantly when the meta doesn't suck. Like during Siren Song meta, I would log on at like 2 a.m. or something and like grind out my Gauntlet like really quick and then just be like, okay, I'm done. But like when the meta doesn't suck, I'm super happy to play Gauntlet. And just to say again, like on the Prime Glories are nice, but again, the Prime Glories that you're getting are 2 free wins against players who have 0 to 1 wins, which most of the time is going to be free wins. If you watch people who don't have Prime Glories, so often their first 2 rounds are just like against joke lineups, right? It's like old Gauntlet. You know, you're playing against joke lineups and players who like constantly make misplays. Like it matters, but it doesn't matter that much. I think that like basically any competitive player, it probably doesn't matter to you. You should probably be shit stopping those first 2 rounds.
I don't know. In the last open, I went 1-3, so I don't know about the.
Okay, well, Bai is bad at the game, so like, you know, ignore that.
Yeah.
But no, the other thing is like in the last one, nobody had a Prime Glory, right?
Yeah.
Which means that your first couple rounds are harder. Like the Prime Glories being more being more prevalent for like competitive players means that even the people who don't have the Prime Glories are having easier round 1 and round 2s. Like because they're not playing the people who've been grinding for the last 2 months.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Well, we have one other topic listed, but I should wrap this up. MaRu Open. Anybody want to talk about how that tournament
Yeah, I
went?
did that
I'll
like
bring up
2
the
days ago.
P&E.
Because something I like about it is this meta was like it's how like it constantly evolves, and I think we're still not evolved yet. I think even though it's Wednesday, we're still gonna see maybe some new decks pop up, and we gotta see it as well. Like so, it's pretty interesting. I actually don't know who won, by the way. Actually, I wasn't watching that. I got 0-2 and I went out. So.
Do you know who won?
I
The
know.
Master and Terra?
Oh wait, D-Tank. Oh yeah, D-Tank won. Oh, good point.
Yeah, Tank Buster won.
Yeah, I don't think
He was playing some nonsense.
I don't think it was the most exciting kind of tournament, although Tank did have like a particularly exciting lineup. So
I think that he has come out and said that his lineup was very fucking troll, and it's crazy that he won, which I think is a valid way to describe that Nardarius.
That deck is
Yeah.
quite bad in my opinion.
That's very correct, Zach. What you mean? That's very correct.
So it'll bully some EU players.
No,
Mhm.
no, it was yeah. I watched like the whole playoffs. The finals was crazy because Tank Buster like high rolled the shit out of his Nora portals. He got like Saradad on like turn 3 that like drew him like 3 insane cards. And then like got the Prefect on like turn 7 and a Rex, and it just had like 12 attack. Like it was actually the craziest portal hits I've seen. I don't think it was playable from Ryoji's side. It actually just wasn't.
Yeah, but there we see another meta. Atox Jinx. Yeah, I think that's something. I think this might be very similar to the one we're gonna see in Open. I would say.
Yeah,
This
it,
worries me, to be honest.
it
'cause
seemed quite normal. But
the deck I really wanted to play is Aatrox. But like so many people are peddling Aatrox that I'm concerned that people are just gonna psychopath bring Nasus. So
Nah,
like
there's
I
gonna be
don't know
so
if I
much
could
Nasus.
bring
I'm scared that
Nasus, Orange X, I don't know,
Ginger.
something else.
That's the
Shenjarvan,
third.
yeah, Shenjarvan and Jax and Nasus.
It's just it's so cringe. I just want to play Aatrox, bro. Let me play Aatrox.
Yeah. No,
No,
I think like Atox is good at like he can steal some games, especially like into own Jax, into maybe the Shenjarvan. I think it's like stealable games, but
no,
it's
I
tough
think
to play. Yeah.
I think Aatrox is really good. I think Aatrox might be the best deck. But like mainly because it beats Jinx, and like Jinx probably is actually I don't know. But Aatrox is just it just feels so good, man. You're playing like a strong proactive deck that like does the thing and like has some healing and like has inevitability and like has interaction. Oh my god, it's a miracle. Coming off of Siren Song meta to like, oh my god, I get to play the game as Aatrox and Heimer Jace. Again, I understand people not liking this meta because it's a lot of the same, but fuck me, it feels good to play decks to like do things, and interact and have like skill expression.
Skill impression, yeah. That's what
Yeah,
I like.
as much as I would be more negative than you on this meta, it is so much better than Siren Song.
It couldn't get worse. Let's be honest. Like it was so bad that like yeah.
I don't know if there was a worse meta.
No.
There have definitely been worse decks than Siren Song, but the problem with Siren Song was
Silence.
every fucking deck. Like you couldn't ban it. Good lineups contained 2 of this. Like every good lineup was just like, yeah, 2x Siren Song. Some people were like, yeah, 3x Siren Song. So it's just like, if you sit here and you're like, okay, this deck is miserable, but like it's a 0 Relia, you can just ban it. Or Kaisa, just ban it. Even these like really miserable decks that you could like 9x of like Timelines or Tree, like there was one good Tree deck. There was like definitely like 3 playable Timelines decks, but they weren't like outrageous for the tournament. So you could just ban the like really egregious one, be okay. Siren Song was just like, no, you're fucking dealing with this because you can 6x, you can 9x this, and all of them are miserable. They're all the same deck.
when like the worst Siren Song deck was like Diana Evelyn, and like it's like, oh, well, this is still the deck that's winning the whole fucking tournament.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just
I definitely think that meta was the worst meta LOR has ever seen. Competitive, at least. Ladder meta, probably there was a worse one. But for competitive meta, where it was just like, it's a bad meta and your ban doesn't matter. You're like, oh, fun.
Yeah, ladder was Kaiser. Like Kaiser was the worst, I guess,
Yeah.
for ladder, and this was the tournament mana because yeah, in Kaiser meta it's just ban Kaiser like at the
I wish that the Fizz deck was the only one that was playable, because that one was at least fun to play. It wasn't fun to play against, but it was at least fun to play.
Yeah, like Avalanche decks, Diana Avalanche wasn't fun to play, even play against. Like, it's miserable both sides.
I played like 100 games of the fucking Illaoi deck, and I hated every minute of every game.
It was fucking Go Fish. Like I mean, the Fizz one was a little bit better, but like so many of those decks were Go Fish. Like just, oh, I found the card, you lose. You're like, oh. Fun.
Well, it made the Fizz deck.
Swain Illaoi, huh? Kind of Swain Illaoi, I remember.
Yeah, kind of. You're saying is Swain Illaoi is Siren Song. Okay. Okay.
In some capacity, I would say. Like,
Idle on one is Siren Song if you think about it. Yeah, no, that's the nice thing about Fizz is that like it had play through like its bad hands, and like it had play into matchups, and I liked that deck.
It still fucking blows me away that people are like, the solution to Fizz is Senna Castigate.
I played in that shit. Like it's really cute, but I'm setting up this turn 7 open attack with a Moonlight Affliction, and I don't think you know what's happening.
It was so bizarre that people were like, "Yeah, this is the plan," and I'm like, it would be one thing if we're talking like Targon Elusives, where it's like, okay, they play like 2, maybe 3 Telstones. Like Hush on Senna is a real concern if that's your plan, but it's like they play like 6 Hushes, like. This isn't just like
5 and we're happy about it.
Yeah.
It's not even it's I'm targeting you. This just like accidentally happened.
I have no clue how that happened. That is the most wild like copium story I've ever heard.
Yeah. This was pretty funny. I know a lot of people hate Fizz, especially because Fizz like keeps hitting meta decks. Do you think that Fizz is like inherently problematic? Because I feel like he's the side piece in every single one of his decks. I don't think I've ever seen like a Fizz deck other than like Fizz Riven where I was like, Fizz is the problem. I feel like Fizz is just like such a side piece in these decks that I struggle to see a world where like he needs a nerf.
He wins you some matchups, right? Like he wins you, like, I don't know, you play against Nasus, like I feel it's okay. I guess it's gonna help me to win matchups. Like it's sometimes becoming win condition, but yeah, I don't think he's like. It's maybe sometimes very, especially when you're playing, I don't know, Azure deck or something, like it's very unfun to play against him sometimes. I definitely can see that. But does he need nerf? I guess not.
The only way that I would change him is I feel like Fizz level 1 shouldn't have infinite deny effects. If you want this like unkillable Fizz thing, I expect you to be playing a large quantity of spells. I think there's been too many decks that are like Riven Fizz would be a good example where like that deck was barely capable of leveling Fizz, and like it still had enough spells to just be like, if you try and remove Fizz ever, like get fucked. I feel like Fizz level 1 should be toned down, but Fizz level 2 I think is fine. So
yeah, I don't know. Fizz like he does the shrine. To be clear, I play decks that cry into Fizz. That is my bread and butter is decks that do not enjoy playing into Fizz. But like at the same time, it's like it's fine. You know, you play a little bit of AoE. You know, you do some uninteractable shit like Quicksand or Hush, or like I feel like there's a lot of counterplay to this card. But it is funny that he just keeps showing up in these broken decks. Up in these broken decks.
All right. Well, it seems like we're not getting a whole lot of questions, so I think we should probably call it. But good time.
Goodbye, YouTube.